Good evening. I'd like to call the October 7th, 2024 meeting of the Greenville City Council to order. I'm Mayor P.J. Connolly. I'll be presiding over tonight's meeting. First, I'd like to call on Councilmember Foreman for the invocation, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you, Mayor. It's been a bit of an emotionally taxing week, actually 2 weeks, with some senseless losses of life over the last couple of weeks. And so I wanted to revert to the scripture tonight to share with Galatians 5 and 6. Galatians 5, verses 22 and 23. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Against such things there is no law. In Galatians 6:13, wherefore take unto you the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand in the day, and having done all, to stand. Move down to Galatians 6:18, praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Spirit, and watching thereunto with all perseverance and supplication for all. I lift his words in prayer in the unwavering name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Yes, sir. Mayor Connolly.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Daniels.
Present.
Councilwoman Foreman.
Here.
Councilmember Blackburn.
Present.
Councilmember Scully has let us know he will not be attending this evening. Councilmember Robinson.
Here.
Councilmember Willis.
Here.
All right, Mayor Connolly, you have a point.
Thank you very much. We'll now move on to the approval of tonight's agenda. Mr. Manager, any recommended changes?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I have one change. I'd like to ask for, under special recognitions, to remove item number 2, cardiac save at Wintergreen School.
Okay.
That'll be all.
Motion to approve the agenda as
Did you
is.
say remove?
Oh,
Yep.
1 second.
Yep. Because they're not here.
Yeah.
Council's got it.
Yeah, Mayor and Council, I'd ask that a closed session motion be added to the agenda to be read at the end of the meeting.
Motion to approve the agenda with those deletions and additions.
Second.
All right. Motion been made by Councilmember Robinson, second by Councilmember Willis. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay.
Motion passes 5-0.
Should move on to special recognitions.
Yay.
Michael, what district is it?
Look over there right there and tell me.
It's your district.
All right, we're here tonight to recognize Mr. Eddie Anderson. We're asking him to come up to be recognized, please. Thank you for coming up here. So, on September 6, 2024, at 10:15, our department received a 911 call for a house fire on Maple Street. We get there, we do our regular thing. Mr. Anderson's standing out there across the street, and we didn't really know the whole story till after, you know, the fire was out and smoke was gone and everything. We're helping the family get cleaned up and stuff. But Mr. Anderson, he probably could be thanked for just calling 911, which is what, you know, most folks do in the community when they see something. They'll call 911, get the responders en route, get them to be taken care of. But he went above and beyond. He stopped his mail route. He went up to the house. He beat on the door. They didn't initially come to the door. It took him a while to get them there, but they were asleep. But they got up and they came out. He got them out, And I just want to say thank you for that day potentially saving some folks' lives. The house was burning from the outside to the end, but it got into the attic, and it could have been very bad. But I appreciate not only getting the folks that needed to be there to deliver the aid, but also going a step beyond and providing that life-saving measure like you did. I really appreciate that. So thank you.
And Mr. Anderson, in recognition of your heroic act and the fact that your actions that day saved someone's life and you represent everything great there is about Greenville, we would like to present you with this certificate that says, "Certificate of Appreciation is hereby granted to Eddie Anderson for outstanding actions during an emergency situation on September 6, 2024. Presented October of 2024 by Brock H. Davenport, Fire Rescue Chief." Again, thank you.
We'll move on to the public comment period. Public comment period is a period reserved for comments by the public. Items that were or are scheduled to be the subject of a public hearing conducted this same meeting or another meeting during the same week shall not be discussed. A total of 30 minutes is allocated, with each individual being allowed no more than 3 minutes. Individuals who register with the city clerk to speak will speak in the order registered until the allotted 30 minutes expires. If time remains after all persons who have registered and spoken, individuals who do not register will have an opportunity to speak until the allotted 30 minutes expires. Madam Clerk, our first speaker.
Mayor Conley, we do not have any registered speakers.
Anyone that would like to speak during the public comment period, please come forward, state your name for the record. You have 3 whole minutes. Seeing none, we'll close the public comment period. We'll move on to the consent agenda. Mr. Manager?
Thank you, Mayor. Item number 3 under the consent agenda, resolution providing for Greenville to become a member of the American Flood Coalition. Item number 4, municipal agreement with North Carolina Department of Transportation for the NorthSouth Connector Project. Item number 5, resolution accepting dedication of rights of way and easements for West Arlington Commercial Park. Item number 6, resolution declaring Police Canine Nitro as surplus and authorizing his disposition to Officer Robert Parker. Now, item number 7, request by Police Department to upgrade Animal Protective Services officer from a part-time employee to a full-time employee. Item number 8, request by Police Department to utilize asset forfeiture funds to purchase equipment. Item number 9, authorization for the IT Department to renew the Microsoft 365 agreement. Item number 10, contract award to the East Group for on-call engineering architectural services. Item number 11, agreement for electric vehicle charging station for Wildwood Park. Item number 12, approval to purchase new additional vehicles for Public Works Department Transit Division. Item number 13, contract award to ETA 5 Systems Incorporated, DBA ETA Transit for passenger information system and electronic fare collection system products and services. Item number 14, contract award to Enco East LLC to replace HVAC Aeon units number 6 and number 7 and inline duct humidifiers at City Hall. And item number 15, various tax refunds greater than $100.
I'd like to pull number 8, number 10, please.
All right. Any other items?
Motion to approve consent agenda absent 8 and 10 at the request of Mayor Pro Tem Daniels.
Second.
All right, motion been made by Councilmember Robinson, second by Mayor Pro Tem Daniels. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay.
Motion passes 5-0.
Move to number 8.
All right, thank you, Mayor. Item number 8, request by Police Department to utilize asset forfeiture funds to purchase equipment. Now I'll call forward Chief of Police Ted Sauls to answer any questions you may have.
Good evening, all. Yes, ma'am.
Hello, Chief.
Hey there.
What equipment is being purchased?
It is a litany, ma'am. I'll give you the highlights. We have 10 different items to include cameras, mapping devices, You'll like this one, a Copsicle Community Engagement Trailer. I'll let you figure out what that one's
Okay,
about.
I'm gonna leave that alone.
That one's actually a trailer we've been looking at for a while, kind of like you'd have a food truck, but this one is for making popsicles. So when we go out and do community engagement events, we can take it out with us, like what we did at National Night Out. The crime scene barriers, that's so we can block view of things that don't need to be seen at times. Shelving storage system for our property and evidence room. A couple of new pieces of equipment for our gym on the second floor that we share with the fire department. We tend to go in kind of halves on those normally, and with the asset money, it helps us pick those up. We're replacing firearms that are expiring, that are not budgeted for, a crime scene crash reconstruction computer, a LiDAR system that's for radar, as you would think about radar, and a new ice dispenser for the third floor.
Okay, thank you. Do we know how much is in the forfeiture funds?
I can get you an exact number, but I would tell you that the approximate number overall was around $700,000, and this is about a $174,000 request for this expenditure.
Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for the work to get the funds, too.
Thank you.
Yes, I move to approve.
Second.
All right, motion been made by Mayor Pro Tem Daniels, second by Councilmember Blackburn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay.
Motion passes 5-0.
Number 10.
All right, thank you, Mayor. Item number 10, contract award to the East Group for on-call engineering architectural services. Now call forward Projects and Development Manager Mark Nottingham to answer any questions you may have.
Fire away.
Hey, good evening.
Good
Hello,
evening.
how are you?
Good.
Can you tell us what type of on-call services are needed by the city right now?
Sure. So upcoming projects with this contract would include the new live fire training facility. This is just as projects come up as they're needed, for kind of smaller scale design projects.
Okay. And is this a continuous service? Have we always had this, or is this something new?
We've had this in the past. So the current contract expired in September. So we're advertised for, give other firms the opportunity. We have to select the most qualified firms. So we went through an evaluation process, reviewed 6 different companies' proposals, and selected the East Group.
And how long is each contract for?
This one's for 2 years. There's an option to renew.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Move to approve.
Second.
All right, motion been made by Mayor Pro Tem Daniels, second by Councilmember Blackburn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay.
Motion passes 5-0.
We shall move on to new business. Item number 16.
Thank you, Mayor. Item number 16, presentations by boards and commissions. The first commission that we will have presented tonight is the Historic Preservation Commission. I'll now call forward the commission chairperson, Jeremy Jordan, for the presentation.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Several of you know me, but for those that don't, again, my name is Jeremy Jordan. I am the chair of the Historic Preservation Commission this year. I've done this a bunch of times over the last 20 plus years that I've been on and off the Historic Preservation Commission. This year we're on the off cycle of our every other year preservation award, so I'm going to be pretty quick tonight. This is from last September to the September that just passed. This year we had 5 major work COAs between the district and the local landmarks, which doesn't sound like much, but those are only for pretty major projects, things that will change the character of a property pretty considerably. And you can see, if I can work this thing, where those were. This is more impactful in my opinion. We had 35 minor work COAs. And minor works sound minor by their name, but this is things like painting, repairing with the same materials, which is really a sign that people are maintaining and keeping up their historic properties, which is always a good thing. Our facade improvement grants, which we do every year, you guys give us a pot of money to award these from, and then we review the applications and see if they meet the requirements, and then award them. So this year we had a total of about $28,000 of applications. And from that, we found 3 applications that met all the guidelines and were things that we could award money for, which totaled $14,035. And here you can see pictures of those properties. The first brick house, which is over here near the post office, they did some brick repointing work. The center here is the Gold Post Cafe on West 5th Street. They painted that house and the house beside it that are connected. And then we have the Fifth Street Hardware, and they did some repairs to windows and doors over on the side where the outdoor dining is. The rest of our FIG funds this year we used. Some of you may have noticed the College View Historic District signs that went up last year along Fifth Street. So since we had this little bit of money to use, we wanted to go ahead and make sure that we did something on the west side of the city. So we put up the same sort of signs for the Skinnerville Greenville Heights District, which is just to the west of this building, down West 5th, West 4th, and some of West 3rd. So we've got those signs placed over there, just to kind of spread awareness that College View is not the only historic district we have here in Greenville. This is just some of our partners that we worked with this past year, the African American Cultural Trail, Preservation North Carolina, who we're still currently working with to help try to save the Higgs House on Dickinson Avenue. And I did speak to Maggie Gregg from PNC today, and they have had multiple showings on the house and a lot of interest. No one's made an offer yet, but we're still trying. And then, of course, ECU with their property specifically along Fifth Street. They're close partners with us about trying to make sure they do the right thing and follow the guidelines when they are the state and don't necessarily have to. So that's always a good thing. We did apply for a CLG grant this year for a workshop on the importance of preserving original windows and a demonstration on how to preserve them, because a lot of times people see a little spot of rot and they think this window has to go, which is not necessarily the case. And we just found out that we did get awarded that grant, and it does not require any matching funds, so that's a good thing.
Good.
And that's all I have, and I'll be happy to try to answer any questions.
I just want to say, in addition to your other efforts, thank you so much for the work you guys have put in to save the Higgs House on Dickinson.
Yeah, that is a very important structure, and I hope that we can save it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We appreciate all your hard work.
Thank you, Mayor. Second to presentation under Boards and Commissions is the Human Relations Council. I will now call forward Vice Chairperson Procopio Serrano for the presentation.
Thank you. I will say the chair is here today, but she's graciously allowed me to take over this report. So thank you. I have to use glasses now. So I am Procopio Serrano, Vice Chair of the Human Relations Council. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to present the report tonight. I just want to reiterate the Council's vision. We're working to create an inclusive community where trust, acceptance, fairness, and equity are part of our community standards. And just to remind folks, we are part, and our role of in the community is to bring awareness to human relations issues as established by the Ordinance 382. You have a list in your report of our what we were created to do. We develop, strengthen ties among organizations working with human rights, study any conditions that present prejudice and or discrimination against protected classes, work to prevent discrimination by developing educational materials and programs to promote equal rights, understanding, inclusiveness, and acceptance. We continue to partner and consult with state, federal, and government authorities on matters, disputes, controversies within the city's jurisdiction regarding fair housing complaints, specifically tenant and landlord complaints. We make recommendations to the City Council on procedures, programs, or policies that promote diversity, acceptance, equal rights, and understanding and inclusion. We also provide referral services on human rights issues to members of the community. And finally, we foster an open communication regarding human rights and the issues for Greenville. There are several ways we do this. As you may be aware, we have an internal work group that basically comprises of HRC members to basically collaborate and prepare in projects and events. We also do external work groups where we work with external members along with our council members to collaborate on projects to make sure we work together on shared goals and objectives. And finally, working with our coordinator, the the staff liaison that oversees and coordinates all activities with the council and members of the community. This year, we make sure we participate on many initiatives for 2024. First one we did this year was the 51st anniversary of the Greenville Human Relations Council. The 51st anniversary of the council was observed on February 24th. The event provided an opportunity for the council to raise awareness of cultural diversity through acknowledgement and recognition of those who have significantly impacted the community, to promote good relations and encourage people to value different identities and cultures. We did have music provided by Mr. Quincy Jones, and we had Mr. Liam O'Laughlin with the Oakwood School, and we had several, those of you who participated, we had several wonderful songs. I know we had a little bit of a showstopper in terms of our presentation, and he chimed in and went in with a couple extra songs that really went well. In addition, we want to thank the city manager, Michael Cowan, and other management staff and elected officials for the participation in that event. We also did the observance of our Fair Housing Month. We had that in April of 2024. That marked our 56th anniversary of the Federal Housing Act of 1968 and the 37th anniversary of the State Fair Housing Act. Again, this event was held at the Greenville Hilton on April 18th. We had several partners. We had HUD, North Carolina Office of Administrative Hearings, Brownlee, Whitlow, and Parrott of Raleigh, Greenville Area Property Managers Association, Metronet, Online Rental Exchange, Pitt County Government, Pitt County Human Relations Commission, and Pitt County Economic Development. The two topics that were discussed was a fair housing post-COVID, an overview of fair housing and fair housing updates and changes. Attorney Kristen Willis with Brownlee, Whitlow, and Parrott, PLLC of Raleigh, were the presenters. We also had a fair housing deep dive. Topics discussed were an overview of fair housing, evictions, discrimination, security deposit, service animals, reasonable modifications, reasonable accommodations, and updates. Ms. Rania Bynum, Ms. Sasha Van, and Ms. Sharisa Wilkins of Fair Housing Investigators with the North Carolina Office of Administrative Hearings were partners. We acknowledged the Honorable P.J. Connolly, who greeted and read the proclamation for the city, and the Honorable Chris Nunley, the Vice Chair of the Pitt County Commissioners, who also participated and read the proclamation on behalf of Pitt County. The council also acknowledges and thanks members Portia Willis, who provided closing remarks, and Tanya Foreman for the support and participation in that event as well. Continuing on, we had the 2024 Juneteenth Jamboree. That was celebrating freedom, Black American history and culture and achievement. Ms. Francine Philpott Pena, our chair, served and represented the council for the city's Juneteenth event and held in sponsorship and affiliation with West Greenville Health Council. Ms. Philpott Pena served on the planning committee and also the chair of the entertainment committee. And the Jamboree was held on June 22nd at the Town Commons. And most of you recently were present at the council's Inclusive Community Breakfast. And that was the city's 17th annual Inclusive Community Breakfast that was held Thursday, September 26th. The theme there was the Healthy Communities Prevent Human Trafficking. And the presenter was Pamela Strickland, the founder of North Carolina Stop Trafficking organization. Ms. Strickland provided information which determines the elements of preventing human trafficking in healthy communities, as well as to identify and report potential human trafficking situations. The council thanks again Honorable Mayor P.J. Connolly for his welcome remarks, the Honorable Portia Willis for her closing remarks, and Ms. Francine Philpott-Pena for her participation. Additionally, we acknowledge Michael Cowan, Mr. Ken Graves, Attorney Danae Alexander, and other dignitaries and city staff that really helped make that event possible. Just a couple of things that are on the list that, in addition to what I've mentioned we did this year, we had a staff liaison that was on a planning committee for the Mosaic Multicultural Arts Festival that was held September 21st at the Town Commons. We also participated in a listening session, the liaison and Mr. George Cherry, who participated for the commission. That was held on July 16th in Wintergreen Town Hall. And then we also had the liaison and our chair, Ms. Francine Philpott-Pena, who attended the Human Relations Commission workshop held in Wilson, North Carolina. That was on Wednesday, August 21st. The event was sponsored by the Wilson Human Relations Commission. And then finally, we had a liaison and the chairperson who also participated and attended the Hate Crime Forum that was held September 19th. This event was sponsored by Fayetteville, Cumberland County Human Relations Commission, Fayetteville Technical Community College, and the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Eastern District of North Carolina, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the North Carolina Department of Justice, the North Carolina Human Relations Commission, North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation, Fayetteville Police Department, and the Fair Housing Project of Legal Aid of North Carolina. The training was facilitated by the U.S. Department of Justice Community Relations Service. The highlight of this event was the appearance of 2 members of the Mother Emanuel 9. This crime occurred 9 years ago at Emmanuel's AME Church in Charleston, South Carolina. Members of the Mother Emanuel 9 spoke of their experiences and journey after that hate-filled crime, gunman that entered the church and killed 9 parishioners while attending Bible study on Wednesday, June 17th. This year, staff liaison responded to 148 tenant landlord calls. That was from October 2023 to September 2024. In addition, our staff liaison primary responsibilities is preparing the following: a fair housing policy for the council's review and approval, a tenant landlord handbook for the council's review and approval, and then, of course, preparing the council's strategic plan. In conclusion, we strive to be ever present, always cognizant, understanding the issues of the day, but also the success of the moment. The Human Relations Council appreciates the continued support of the City Council. Thank you. And awaits future deliberations and implementations for the betterment of all of Greenville residents. We strive for each person in Greenville to find themselves in good company. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Very
you.
nicely done, Mr. Serrano. Thank you guys for all that you do. Ms. Daniels, as always, thank you for all that you do. Ms. Pena, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mayor. The third presentation by boards and commissions is the Greenville Youth Council. Now I'll call forward Chairperson Morgan Worsley for the presentation.
Good evening. I am Morgan Worsley, a student at D.H. Conley and chairperson of the Greenville Youth Council. Before I start, I would like to recognize our council's vice chair, Rachel Nelson, if you could stand. Thank you for the opportunity to share the Youth Council's annual report. The Greenville Youth Council was created August 11, 2005 for high school students. The purpose and establishment of the council has provided an opportunity for youth to be more involved in the community and has created a platform where youth can express their concerns and their challenges. The council recently devoted meeting time preparing for our strategic plan. A new mission statement has been approved and a set of goals has been established and approved. Our mission statement now stands: we are youth, unified to help and serve. Our vision statement: is a community where every youth feels valued, empowered, and connected. The council has 12 active members with 8 available slots. Members of the council, the advisors, the city council member, Ms. Portia Willis, and the staff liaison continue to recruit for members. The staff liaison and the advisors of the Youth Council, Human Relations Council members, attend all meetings and assist with implementing events and activities of the council. The Youth Council meetings are held on the 4th Monday of the month at 6:30 p.m. In 2023, the council participated in the following: Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. celebration. At this event, 2 members of the Youth Council were recognized, myself and a former member of the council, Ms. Carson Fraley, with the Distinguished Service Award. Members of the council also participated, and members of the Youth Council, members of the Greenville Human Relations Council, and family members participated with the community baby shower hosted by Greenville Recreation and Parks Department. This event was held at the South Greenville Recreation Facility. Lastly, we participated in the Juneteenth celebration. Former council member Mr. Alex Guilford and I spoke on the importance of the celebration and provided historical information about Juneteenth at the event. The council's goals are: 1. Serve the Greenville community with 15 hours of volunteer service. Our volunteerism ideas include Joyce Soup Kitchen, rotating with 3 volunteers serving at a time, Food Bank of Eastern North Carolina, Ronald McDonald House, also rotating, Something to Somebody Feeding Ministry, Building Hope, which we will have an application process for the volunteers. We also want to create a video for recruiting new members and visibility purposes. The video will be used to recruit and attract more high school students. We will continue with word of mouth, as well as reaching out to guidance counselors, clubs, and organizations of each school. Next, we were interested in community listening sessions or community dialogues in order to provide opportunities for the youth to express their concerns and offer solutions to the needs of the community from a youth perspective. In addition, this will help Greenville and Pitt County youth have a platform to voice their concerns on current events and matters of the heart. Lastly, we're interested in the State Youth Council. The GYC desires to be chartered by the state. Chartering will provide opportunities for the council to attend in-state leadership training, network with other youth, and learn about their local councils. The council's primary goal is to give the next generation of leaders a voice in Greenville and Pitt County by empowering members to advocate for causes relevant to youth and to collaborate and serve as one united voice. Thank you for your time and support.
Very nice.
Thank
Great
you.
job.
Ms. Worsley, you are the reason we have the Youth Council, because as soon as you started speaking, I said, this is a future public servant right here.
Yes.
You were in the making, so good job.
Thank you so much.
I do have a question, Mayor. And our liaison, Ms. Daniel, she may be able to provide a little clarity. The chartering process, like what's that process for them to be chartered so that they can have that, what she described?
There is a fee for them to be chartered by the state.
Okay.
And then the chairperson or the vice chair would have to attend a meeting where they would have to make some type of presentation about the Greenville Youth Council and what it does,
Okay.
and how it will impact the state youth council.
Mm-hmm.
And it also provides different types of training, in-state training for youth council members.
Awesome. That's so that we can discuss further. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. Thanks for all that you do. Good night.
I
17.
have one more question, Mayor.
Oh, hold on. We got one more
No,
question.
I'm sorry for City Manager Cowan. I'm just curious, some boards present to us yearly and others can present notes to council. So do the boards have the discretion to be able to choose which they'd like to do?
Preferably, it would be through council.
Okay.
There might be a situation where they're not made availability to be able to present, so a backup would be notes to council, but
Okay.
our first preference would always be to come back to the city council.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
All right. Item number 17.
Item number 17, contract award for professional services for the Greenville MPO 2024 Pavement Condition Survey and Asset Inventory Project. I now call forward Asset Manager Kevin Lee and Director of Engineering Lisa Kirby for the presentation.
Hello, everyone.
How you doing?
Hello.
I'm here tonight to talk about the contract for the 2024 Pavement Condition Survey and Asset Inventory Project. A little bit of background. NCDOT conducts biannual pavement condition studies every 2 years, but they do not do condition studies for local streets and municipalities. So in 2014,
the Greenville MPO procures the first asset condition survey, or the pavement condition survey, and the goal was established to conduct these surveys every 5 years. In 2019, we had our second condition survey, and here we are in 2024 asking for approval for our third. In March of this year, Greenville MPO solicited letters of qualified firms specializing in pavement management condition surveys. Letters of interest were received from 3 qualified firms. A selection panel was set up and to review the qualifications and selected the highest rated firm. ESP Associates Incorporated was selected to complete the project. ESP has 37 years of experience in doing geospatial data collection with over 10 years of conducting pavement condition surveys in North Carolina. A little bit about the survey itself. It's an automated pavement data collection process. It produces a PCI-based pavement condition data that encompasses all 282 plus miles, centerline miles of the city of Greenville. The payment data processing is performed block to block for 100% of the lanes that are driven by the data collection survey equipment. Why do we need a PCS survey? Asphalt, when we lay it down, it immediately begins to deteriorate. Surveys provide a pavement condition for a moment in time, and with that moment in time, we can create deterioration curves based off the PCS data. Accurate deterioration curves allow for better projections of our pavement conditions throughout the city. It allows people like myself and our staff to choose the right treatment for the pavement at the right time. Another part of the project is asset inventory. That would consist of LiDAR detection collection and asset extraction, as well as ADA ramp investigation and sidewalk studies. Back in this year's budget, council approved $200,000 for ADA implementation, looking at sidewalks for infill as well. This is going to identify the non-compliant ramps as well as areas in the city that need sidewalk infill. You can see a couple pictures here on the right. 10th Street, there kind of across from the old DMV building, as well as here on 1st Street, across from the old the town commons. This self-assessment is required per our ADA transition plan. The information will be used to develop future ADA retrofit and sidewalk infill projects. And following that, every year we'll have a contract set up to do ADA retrofit and sidewalk, infill projects. The financial investment, it's a 2-phase project. The first phase will be a pavement condition survey. It's roughly $170,000. And the second phase will be the asset inventory with ADA and sidewalk, and it's roughly $200,000, with a total of $372,583.20. The staff recommends that City Council approve and award a professional services contract for the Greenville MPO 2024 Payment Condition Survey and Asset Inventory Project to ESP Associates in the amount of $372,583.20. Any questions?
Question. Councilmember Blackburn.
Asset management.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, because I saw you fixing a curb in my neighborhood. I was not you personally.
He fixed it?
I did.
Your team.
As a public
And then
servant.
you were at National Night Out.
Yes, our team was.
Okay. So,
But we don't fix curbs. We just highlight folks that the need to fix some curbs.
Okay.
Street Department, Public Works usually does the fixing on their end.
okay, maybe I got mixed up.
Yes.
Because it's like you both do roads.
Yes.
But you're different. So that's my question. Asset management.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm so glad I know about asset management now because I did not before.
Yep. Come visit us sometime. We'll got a lot of information for you.
I am sure you have a lot of information. As a matter of fact, I think that's like your main job, if I understand
Yes, ma'am.
correctly.
That and storm drainage improvements.
And do you, when you do asset management, do you literally categorize every curb, every street crossing, every road, every storm drain, and manage those physical assets like your title says?
Yes, ma'am.
That is a
We don't
tremendous
have
job.
we don't have all the pipes inventoried yet, but we're trying.
You're trying to,
Yeah.
you will inventory all the pipes.
Yeah, we are physically going to look at every pipe eventually, but it just takes a lot of time.
I
And
mean,
a lot
that's
of-
just
a lot of
amazing.
effort.
That's amazing. And then your job from there is to make sure they're in a certain quality and what needs attention and,
Yes, ma'am. That kind of, it's morphed into where we do a lot of our resurfacing projects, kind of lead us to where the pipes, we look at all the pipes per resurfacing project, so we make sure we're not putting new structure on top of, defective pipes. And that kind of, it's all kind of intertwined.
and I know that one of the main things that I hear about is roads. When are you going to pave my roads? So when I look at this survey, this is great information for our community to have. And the other thing that's really great about what you do is with the work that we do here for flooding, stormwater control. I know we have an excellent stormwater control program, so they have to work together. So thank you very much for
Yes, ma'am.
answering that question.
Thank you.
Thank you. We got a motion to approve?
Oh, second.
All right, motion's been made by Councilmember Willis, second by Councilmember Blackburn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay.
Motion passes 5-0.
Shall move on to number 18.
Thank you, Mayor. Item number
Technical
18,
details.
update on environmental and climate justice community change grant application. Now I call forward Director of Engineering Lisa Kirby for the presentation.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
So I am excited to talk about the updates with this grant. We'll jump right in, and I'll just remind you a few points about the background of the grant program. But the EPA received $3 billion through the Inflation Reduction Act to fund environmental and climate justice activities to benefit disadvantaged communities. The takeaway there is that $2 billion of that $3 billion was set aside for the Community Change Grant Program, which is the program we applied for. And there is no local match requirement. How it works again is that the city of Greenville is the lead applicant, and then we are required to have a statutory partner. That partner for us is the Boys and Girls Club of the Coastal Plains. Mark Hortzman is with me this evening, as well as Chase Perez, and they'll talk a few minutes about their project and their components with the project. And then we also have two members, the Red Cross as well as Sound Rivers, that are collaborating entities on the grant for us. So project development. With this grant, we're on a very short timeline because of the rolling nature of the grant. So traditionally, grants have an end date, a date where you have to apply, and then they review everything that's been submitted and then announce the awards. This one is different in the sense that it's rolling review. So as soon as you submit it, they're reviewing it and they're pushing money out the door. What that means is the money can dry up before you get your application in. So very time sensitive. So the first thing we did was we went back to our existing plans. We looked at the Horizons plan, we looked at the Watershed Master Plan, we looked at the Greenville Terrace Master Plan. And we said, what did the citizens ask for in those, right? Set up a public survey. We kept that public survey open for about 3 weeks. That was about as long as we could keep it open and have time to develop the project itself. Then we held a public meeting. We were fortunate that we could tag team with the planning department on meetings they had set up. So we held that on June 4th. Then we had future correspondence and meetings with Nitro after the public meeting, as well as we kept the Environmental Advisory Commission in the loop on where we were going with the project and what components we had with the project. Again, our partners, the Boys and Girls Club, Sound Rivers, and the American Red Cross. This map is a map from the application itself. It's busy. What I want you to notice, though, is that per the EPA IRA Disadvantaged Communities map, everything in orange the EPA views as a disadvantaged community in our jurisdiction. The red line is the city limits, or ETJ actually. And then the pins on the map, the red pin is one project component. That's the North EOC, an engineering building. The blue-green pin are the retrofits to the Boys and Girls Club. And then the orange pin is the wetland and walking trails at Greenville Terrace. So first, I'll jump into the distribution warehouse and the gymnasium. So the use of this facility, this will be a new facility at Greenville Terrace, to the back of the park. It will serve as permanent storage for the Red Cross, so there's a portion of the building that will be delegated to them. And then in disasters, it'll act as a distribution center and a truck rodeo. Very excited about this with the recent issues that we've had in Western North Carolina and communication being down. I think this really highlights how critical it is to get the word out to your citizens that this is a distribution point for goods and resources. So you don't have to have social media, and you don't have to have the communication with the cell phones. They always know that they can go to this facility, and there'll be resources for them. So, and then under blue skies, it'll act as a community gymnasium, allowing for pickleball and basketball. Components of the project are a gym with obviously supporting infrastructure, parking, driveway, etc. Staff offices and storage, solar EV charging stations, and then the truck rodeo. Under disasters, you could bring in VIII trucks that would have restroom facilities, laundry facilities, those kind of things. Under blue skies, it can be a food rodeo. So, another unique aspect of this particular project is that we are looking at using a sprung structure for this facility. So they are extremely customizable. You can have skylights, you can have different images on the skin of the facility. They're rated for 175-mile-an-hour wind loads, extremely energy efficient, all recyclable materials, reduced transportation impacts because of how it's delivered, and significant operational savings. Locally, Mr. Beast is currently building one of these here in Greenville, as well as I think it is North Carolina Museum of Natural Sciences at their Contentnea Creek location, just built one of these facilities, and Inglewood Baptist Church in Rocky Mount. So those are the three closest, if you wanted to get an idea of what they look like. The next project is the wetlands and walking trails. This will be at the same location at Greenville Terrace Park. So our wetland will provide flood detention and treatment, as well as an opportunity for public education. And then the walking trails provide an alternate form of transportation or passive recreation for our citizens. This will connect Greenville Terrace neighborhood with the park system, with the Boys and Girls Club. So that green path is the walking trail there. Next, I'll turn it over to Mark and Chase to talk a little bit about the Boys and Girls Club. Here, Mark.
Thank you, Mayor, members of council, city manager. Appreciate the opportunity to be here. Chase, come on up. So Chase is my head of director of IT and facilities. He's really an IT genius, and pulled him in to help us with our facilities. Boys and Girls Club, national brand. We all know what they stand for. Been a long time in the community here. Over 50 years, the Coastal Plain organization's been around. We currently have 5 locations just in Pitt County, and of course one right in West Greenville at the Lucille Gorham Center. But we're talking today about the site on Belvoir Highway, which is our Grady White Boats facility. Been there for a little over 20 years. Has some aging infrastructure to it, and we welcome the opportunity to partner with the city. We are glad that Lisa had reached out to us to collaborate with us on this to improve the facility, reduce our costs, and ultimately open up some more STEM opportunities to get our kids outside more and engage more in the community and learn more about the wetlands and those types of things. So with that, also to partner with the Red Cross. So part of this, as Lisa said, our facility under blue skies, it's full of kids. Under cloudy day, when we're going to be activating, we're not going to be there anyway. So why not be a community partner and allow the Red Cross to come in and operate their base of offices out of there with all the infrastructure and those facilities you saw, basically in the backyard of the club. So I'm going to let Chase talk a little bit about the project that he undertook with our HVAC and lighting.
Hello, it's a pleasure to meet all of you. So this is an undertaking. There's a lot of work to be done, but we're really excited for the opportunity and the partnership. So there were a few main components that we're going to take a look at for some of the retrofits that we wanted to do for our organization. So the very first thing that we wanted to do was we have an aging HVAC unit. If we're talking about saving energy, our HVAC units, when you're looking at potentially 30-year-old units, just about, they can use a refresh. So that was the first thing, moving to something that's a little bit more energy efficient, bringing in some LED lighting, and then also looking at solar panel installation, and then having a backup battery system, so that way when we do partner with Red Cross, we do have a reserve of energy that they can plug into to help them when they have the first responders. And so these things will allow us to really impact our community. It's going to help us upgrade our facility, but then we're also investing into the youth that we're serving. So it kind of checks all the boxes across the board. So the solar panel upgrade, this is a high-level view of what it would look like. And it's really interesting because there's a lot of math and engineering that went to these numbers, and I will spare you those details. However, if you would love some technical reading, I can send you your own personal copy of the engineering reports. But anyhow, with as you can see on the top of our building, these solar panels, it is going to make a huge reduction in our carbon footprint. About 351 metric tons is what we're looking at. And then I thought it was pretty impressive. 39,000 gallons of fuel will be saving just alone by converting out of the, adding on the solar panels and upgrading our HVAC systems. So this is the solar panel on top on this top picture, and then on the bottom, that is our solar-powered carport. So that's also a service that we'd be lending to the community for anyone who has an electric vehicle. They can go there and they can charge up, and all of that should be off the grid, so definitely saving there. And the last component of this, or actually some of the math that went into this. So as we were working with some of these engineers, it's amazing that we're going to be saving around $30,000 per year. And we actually have some really interesting metrics, but over 90% of our overall utility cost is going to be absorbed by moving over to this new structure. So operationally, it's huge, but then we also think about the purpose of this grant. It would definitely lend itself. So we would be able to refresh our facility in the local area, provide more meaningful lighting, consistent air control for the kids that we serve, but then also be a refuge for the Red Cross and have that energy storage to impact our community. And all of the operational dollars that we will be saving is going right back into our programming for the kids. So last part there. Yeah. Thank you guys for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and last but not least, the last project component is the secondary EOC in North Greenville. So during an activation, it'll operate as an EOC, like I said, with sleeping quarters, because there are limited hotels in North Greenville. And then under blue skies, it'll operate as the engineering facility. The components, obviously office space, warehouse space, as well as redundant fiber. So the fiber will complete a redundant loop that will connect the primary EOC to City Hall and to the secondary EOC. With that, there's increased capacity provided for Greenville Terrace, as well as increased capacity to Fire Station number 4, which is north of the river. All right, budget numbers. So it's kind of where we break down the different projects and what that's going to cost. For the EOC engineering building, you're looking at about $14.3 million. Distribution warehouse and gymnasium, $4.3. Wetland and walking trails, approximately $1.7. And then the boys and girls retrofit, about $600,000. For a total of $21 million. So with the grant, the maximum award is $20 million. So we requested $20 million and then $1 million from the stormwater utility in order to pay for the wetland. So status, EPA is expected to award approximately 150 projects from $10 to $20 million each. As of July 25th, they had awarded 17 applicants at a total of about $325 million. There have not been any updates since that point, but what that means is there's a lot of money left on the table. So hopefully that's good news for the city of Greenville. And we officially submitted our application at 12:25 p.m. and 13 seconds. No, I'm just kidding. On Friday, the 4th. So, and any questions?
I don't see any questions.
I mean, it's not so much a question as it is, well, I do have a question, but I just want to commend our staff for getting this thing together so rapidly. On the EAC, we've been hearing about it for a few weeks, if not months, and our liaison, Daryl, has talked about it. And Lisa, you've done a super job putting it all together, that big picture view. This is so exciting. This is so exciting. I could not be more excited. The question I have is the wetland area. That's not going to be. That's not going to be like a retention pond. That's going to be where you preserve what's already in place.
Well, it'll be a constructed wetland. So there is no water retention there at this point. So we'll excavate. We'll provide habitat. We'll hopefully, depending on how the design goes, maybe even a fishing pier for public engagement with the wetland.
So you're constructing wetlands.
Mm-hmm.
Love that. Love that. Thank you so much.
I just want to say thank you for giving an example of what can be done with energy efficiency as well as environmental responsibility with solar panels.
And I'm excited. I think I love all of this. North of the river, we have so much going on environmentally, so this is good to see. And just real quick, in reference to the Boys and Girls Club, as you upgrade, constituents really would like to see a library kind of incorporated in there. So just putting that out there for you. Thank you all so much.
All right, move on to number 19.
Thank you, Mayor. Item number 19, ordinance to amend the manual of fees to add fees to engineering fees. I'll call forward our Chief Financial Officer, Jacob Joyner, for the presentation.
I know. Skirting on thin ice.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. We have two amendments to the manual fees, both of which are related to the engineering department. The first will be to add a fee for CDL skills test fee for non-employees. That will be $150. And this is related to a third-party tester fee for non-employees and is to cover employee time for testing non-employees. And this will apply to all non-employees of the city of Greenville. And we also have a stormwater fee, and this is a payment in lieu of attenuation. And this fee will be $2,500 per cubic foot per second increase. And that is determined as the difference in peak runoff rate post-development compared to pre-development. And we just ask that City Council will approve the amendment to the manual fees.
I do have a question on this one. Does you have a question? Can you, I think we've talked about this in the EAC as well. We may have talked about it on council, but that basically allows, if I am a developer and I increase runoff, I pay a fee. Is that how that works?
I believe so. Lisa, do you want to talk a little more about?
There's Daryl.
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
Yes, ma'am, it does. And so our ordinance right now requires attenuation that for a development to make sure that the peak runoff rate that comes off of a developed site is no greater than what was there before. What we determined is in certain conditions that is difficult or even counterproductive to provide that attenuation in certain locations. And we are offering a fee in lieu option for the developers. It's voluntary, but essentially they can pay into this fee instead of providing that attenuation on site for their development. They can pay the fee, and then the city can then use those funds to do other identified projects from our watershed master plans that would be a better expenditure for that money than forcing them to do attenuation where it doesn't make sense.
And does this attenuation or fee in lieu, does that have to be approved by our Public Works Department?
By engineering.
Engineering?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? May I make a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All right, motion been made by Councilmember Wills, second by Councilmember Blackburn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
Motion passes 5-0.
With a brief presentation?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Item number 20, Budget Ordinance Amendment number 3 to the 2024-25 City of Greenville Budget Ordinance 24-038, Capital Projects Fund Ordinance number 17-024, Special Revenue Grant Fund Ordinance number 11-003, Engineering Capital Projects Fund Ordinance number 20-019, Capital Projects Management Fund Ordinance number 24-040, and the newly established Opioid Settlement Fund. I'll again call forward our Chief Financial Officer, Jacob Joyner, for a quick presentation.
Speed Raider.
All right, here we go. This is Budget Amendment number 3 to the 2025 City of Greenville Budget Ordinance. It will impact operating funds, capital project funds, the Special Revenue Grant Fund, as well as establish an opioid settlement fund. Item A will be to increase funding for the zoning ordinance project. This will increase the Community Development Capital Fund by $11,640. Item B will be to fund the pavement condition survey project with funds from engineering operating and leftover street improvement funds. And this will increase the capital engineering fund by about $175,000. We have item C, which will appropriate funding received from golf course operations for course improvements. This will increase the capital project management fund by $160,000. Item D will use reserve occupancy tax funds for the wayfinding project within the general fund, and that will increase the general fund by $75,000. We have item E, which will use reserve occupancy tax funds for costs associated with the Convention Center pedestrian mall renovations, and that will increase the Public Works capital fund by $36,000. Item F will move funds from the Merchant Alley project from project management to Public Works, and that has no net effect on the general fund. Item G will be recognized funding received for the body worn cameras. That will increase the Special Revenue Grant Fund by $1.4 million. We'll recognize funding received for downtown beautification project. That will increase the general fund by $20,000. Item I will recognize funding received for ShotSpotter, which will increase the Special Revenue Grant Fund by $263,000. Item J will recognize additional rescue service transport revenue to cover contracted services associated with EMS billing, and that will increase the general fund by $130,000. Item K will recognize funding for the Boviet Solar Economic Development Grant. That will increase the Special Revenue Grant Fund by $2.6 million. Item L will to establish the opioid settlement fund with funds from settlement collections to date, and that will decrease the Special Revenue Grant Fund by $500,000 and increase the opioid settlement fund by $500,000. Item N will be to close out the pool replacement project, and that would decrease the Recreation and Parks Capital Project Fund by $4.3 million. Item N is to close out projects within the Public Works Capital Project Fund. This will decrease the Public Works Capital Project Fund by $19.5 million. And item O will be to appropriate federal forfeiture funds for police, and that will increase the general fund by $175,000. That brings the overall City of Greenville operating budget to $191 million. And we ask the council approve budget amendment number 3.
So moved.
All right, motion's been made by Councilmember Blackburn, second by Mayor Pro Tem Daniels. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you very much. We'll move on to the review of the October 10th, 2024 City Council agenda.
Thank
Mr.
you,
Manager.
Mayor. I'll ask for that agenda be posted on the screen for the public to review.
Yes, sir. Your time.
Okay, I will make this quick. I just want to give a quick shout out to our engineering department. Lisa Kirby and her staff have just done an outstanding job in everything they do, not only on street projects, in the stormwater projects, but also in this EPA grant. That is a game changer for the north of the river area, and they've just done one heck of an outstanding job to put together a project that will not only benefit us operationally, but is also environmentally sound. So just great job to you and your staff. That's all I have.
All right, Councilmember Foreman.
No comment.
Councilmember Blackburn.
Just a couple of brief comments. I just wanted to say and to share, as I know we all feel a lot of compassion for our family and friends and human beings and animals in the western part of the state that are suffering such catastrophic loss, and for us all to keep them in our hearts and in our prayers. I would like to also, on a happier note, I would like to thank with just profound gratitude and just high praise for all the work that was done for our 250th anniversary. We had our event Friday night. It was so much fun. Everything was so well organized, and it took place along with a First Friday art walk. It was just a great evening, and just would like to thank all of our staff who's been so involved. Of course, under the leadership of our city manager, it's been a very well put together celebration for our city, and it will continue throughout the rest of the year. Thank you.
Very nice. Councilmember Willis?
No comments tonight, Mayor.
Councilmember Robinson?
Yes, just very briefly. First, I'd like to reach out and just say thank you to Henry Hinton. As of today, they wanted one tractor trailer load of goods to go to western North Carolina. As of today, through the help of this community reaching out from every aspect of the community, 14 tractor trailer truckloads of goods went to western North Carolina, in addition to numerous pickup trucks and U-Hauls that went on top of that. They had a goal of only having one, and they got 14, so congratulations to Henry Hinton and to everybody that reached out to donate anything they could to try and help our neighbors up in the western part of North Carolina. And also, safe travels there and back, and while there, to our own council member, Matthew Scully, who is up there now volunteering his time as a cook. I think the organization he is going to, I think, is served about 6,000 meals in one day. And their chef had a problem, so he's going to help. So Godspeed to him and everybody up there. All those watching online and those audience, be mindful of their neighbors up there. I mean, the event will be gone from the TV newsreels after a week or two, but this is a catastrophic event. Even like when we had Floyd, this will go on for years and years up there. So once it gets removed from the newsreels, still keep thinking and giving to our neighbors up in West North Carolina, because it's catastrophic. What's happened is going to take a very long time to recover. So, Mayor, thank you. One more last thing. Congratulations again to Eddie Anderson. I spoke to him in the orders before we started, and I said, if we just have more people like you that are willing to stop their day and help another human being or human beings, what a better place this world would be. So thanks to Eddie for stepping out that day and not just calling, but also using his time to go try and save some people. That's what Greenville's all about. So I'm proud to be in a hometown of this town that has people like Eddie Anderson. So thank you again, Mr. Anderson. It was a pleasure to meet you, sir. Thank you, Mayor.
Mayor Pro Tem Daniels?
I want to give a personal shout out to my twins, Ashley and Alicia, who have a birthday coming up this week. And to also remind everyone that it is Fire Prevention Week. Please check your smoke alarms. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Very nice. Just quickly, I want to say condolences to all the people in the western part of the state, and thank you to the citizens of Greenville and all of Pitt County for continuing to support their needs. As Councilmember Robinson said, it's going to continue on for a long period of time, so continue to keep them in your thoughts and prayers. And we all know that we're in the heart of hurricane season, so other ones could pop up, and we know our neighbors to the south of us in Florida are probably bracing for a very large hurricane to hit. So there's lots of needs throughout our country, so keep them in your thoughts and prayers through this period of time. With that, I'll go to our city attorney for the motion to go into closed session.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor and council members, I recommend the council adopt the following motion pursuant to North Carolina General Statute, Section 143-318.11A3, to consult with an attorney employed or retained by the public body in order to preserve the attorney-client privilege between the attorney and the public body, including consultation relating to the public body, considering and giving instructions concerning the handling or settlement of a claim or judicial action.
So moved.
Second.
All right, motion been made by Councilmember Blackburn, second by Councilmember Willis. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay.
Motion passes 5-0.
We're in closed session.